Welcome to part 2 of our series on designing knives using Coreldraw 2018 version. We left off our last video where we'd finished our nice profile and we were ready to use it as a template for transferring our design to our piece of metal. But before we do that, and as promised, I'm going to show you how to create handle mock-ups so we can get an idea of what our knife's going to look like even before it's been made. And to do that, I'm going to take and make a copy of our profile. And to make a copy, you select the object, you left click, drag, and while you're holding the left mouse button, you right click, just like we did in our last video. Now I want to take and move these pin locations off to the side for now. Just select them, click and drag them. And then I want to take and cut off this front part, the blade, so I have just the handle area to work with. And to do that, I'm going to use a cool tool called the trim tool. I'm first going to create a rectangle, and then we're going to select both objects, the rectangle and the profile, and go up to our trim tool, and when we click this, it cuts off the front area, and we're going to delete that and work with just the knife handle. So I'm going to zoom in here so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to shape this some more. I'm going to convert this line to a curve, so I right click, select a curve, and I can drag my flags out and create a rounded area. So let's give our scale, the front of our scale, a radius. Then I'm going to zoom out to page. Alright, then I'm going to make a copy of this by selecting it, left click, drag, right click, we got our copy. Alright, then we're going to use a new tool called Power Clip, and we're going to place a photograph inside this handle outline. And I've already got the photograph on the clipboard, so all I have to do is paste and it'll show up. And this is a picture, a photograph of a piece of wood that I bought a while back. That is actually a pair of scales that I bought back, and it's ironwood burl, very beautiful piece of wood. And I'm going to put it inside this container now by going to Object, Power Clip, place into frame, and I'm going to go right to the edge of this and click, and it'll put that in there. Now the photograph's not quite big enough, so I'm going to go back and select Object, Power Clip, and I'm going to edit the power clip. And then I can go in here and stretch out that photograph a little bit so it covers up our entire handle. Then I can go back to Object, Power Clip, finish editing the power clip. So now we've got that photograph inside there, and it looks pretty good. It's not quite tall enough, so let's edit it again. Go to Object, Power Clip. Whoops, we haven't got it selected. Select the object. Go to Object, Power Clip, Edit Power Clip, and then we need to drag our photograph up a little bit. So now it's covering our entire scale, so we should, well, not quite there, so let's drag it down. So alright, now we got it. So go to Object, Power Clip, and finish editing. Alright, now we got it. Let's eliminate this outline, the black outline. So we'll go to our outline tool. Instead of a 3-point black, we're going to select none. Alright, and that goes away. Also, I got to remember to delete this line. But first of all, I want to create a solid pattern in our copy of our handle. And we'll go down to the fill tool, bring that menu up, and we're going to use the solid fill, and we're going to make it a dark brownish color like this. That's pretty dark. That should work. And that's supposed to be our fill there. Why did it not fill it? This thing really likes screwing with me. Let's try this again. Dark brown, right there, that color. Okay, there we go. Now let's eliminate the outline on this. And we got 3-point dark brown. We want none. Select OK. So now we have no fill there. Now I'm going to apply a transparency to this brown fill so that it creates a 3D effect when we place it over top of our original photograph of the wood. So I'm going to go down here to transparency. That's this tool right here, the checkerboard. Why they made it a checkerboard, I don't know. We're going to click at the bottom of the profile of our handle and drag upward. Alright, and see it creates a transparency. So let's zoom out zoom to page, and then I'm going to put this transparency on top of our wood handle just by dragging it up and let go. And see, that gives us a 3D effect. Zoom in on that. See how that looks? That looks pretty good. We missed our being on top of each other exactly. That looks better. Okay, now what else we got to do? Let's zoom to page. Let's put our pins back on our handle. And first of all, let's take them down here and let's put a fill in there. Let's make them look like brass. So we'll go to our fill tool again, and we'll select fountain fill. It's kind of a faded fill. It fades from one color to the other. And right now, I want this color to be this gold. Alright, and it fading to white. Let's fade to a light yellow, just like that. So it being that color being white. So let's make this a light yellow, very light yellow. Alright, select OK. And now I'm going to rotate this. You click and hold, you can rotate the angle of the fade or the fountain fill. And let go. That looks pretty good. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Actually, on this, I want to do a square. Gives it kind of a highlight that makes it look like the end of a pen. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. Let's put it up on top of our handle scale. Line it up the best we can. Now, I think what it's done to us, it's put it underneath that transparency. So to make this brighter, let's bring those pins to the front. So we go to Object. Alright, let's put some color into our knife profile. Go down to our Fill tool, double click it, and bring up and select the fountain fill. And we'll use this gunmetal gray color, and it fades to a white. That looks pretty good. I just want to rotate the angle of the blend so that it's like at a 45. Select OK. Alright, that looks pretty good. I want to zoom in on this front part, and I want to create a grind line, a mock grind line. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. We don't want any fill on it right now. So we'll select no fill. Okay. And we're going to convert this rectangle to curves. And then we're going to shape it. And we're going to create what looks like, hopefully what looks like a grind line. So we would have our ricasso area here. We would bring this node down to our tip. We can delete this node, and we're going to bring this straight across till it intersects with our spine. Convert that to a curve and drag our flags. We're going to convert this node to a curve and drag our flags and see if we can match our edge. That's looking fairly good. I want to create a rounded corner here, which you'd get when you're grinding. So we'll create 2 points and then delete this node in the corner. And then we're going to convert this node to a curve, drag our flags out, and create a rounded corner. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Let's add a fill to this. Let's add a fountain fill. Bring up our fill menu. And I want to use that same gunmetal color. I just want to rotate it so that it contrasts. So we'll rotate it 45 degrees in the opposite direction. And it doesn't look too bad. Let's delete the outline. We don't need an outline. Outline is none. Okay. Let's delete the outline on our profile. The outline, instead of 3-point black, we're going to none. Okay. Now let's zoom out and see what we got. Alright, we got a knife profile, a colored knife profile, and a handle. We need to put these two together, I guess. This metal color is not showing up too well, so I'm going to create a background that'll contrast better with that blue. We'll make it a tannish color. And of course, when I created this object and had automatic fill on it, everything went to the back. I'm covering it up. So let's first of all change the fill. We want a solid fill. and we're going to make it a tannish color, something like that. All right, and then we're going to move it to the back. So we've got object, order, to the back of the page, and everything comes back up. All right, so let's select our knife profile, bring it down, and then whoops, I do that every time. I forget to lock the background. And then when you go to grab it, it drags it away. So the first thing you need to do after you create a big background like that is go to Object, Group, and not Group, we want to lock it, Lock Object. Alright, so then it shows up the little locks in the corner. So now if I click on it and try to drag it, it's locked in position, and when I'm working down in here, I don't accidentally move it. So let's zoom in where I can see what I'm doing. And I really want to zoom in on this handle because I'm going to bring this handle over top of the profile. So let's make sure the handle is to the front. So we go Object, Order, to the front of the page. Then we can drag it down and line it up real carefully. About right there. That looks pretty good. Let's zoom out. Zoom to page. Alright, let's center our knife on the page better, like this. Alright, now to get this to stand out even more, I want to create a drop shadow, and that's what this little tool is here. But first I want to make sure I've got everything grouped together so I don't get a bunch of mini drop shadows. I just want to drop shadow the absolute outline. So I go to Object, Group Objects, and then I'm going to select my drop shadow tool, and I go to the center of the knife somewhere and click and hold with my left button and drag diagonally until I see that outline appear, and then I'll let go. And see how that creates a drop shadow along the bottom? Alright, that's looking pretty good. That's what we could show to a customer and say, hey, if we were using this scale material, that's what this knife would look like. Alright, here's some other examples of handle mock-ups I've done. In this first clip here, we see a bunch of different handles that I was handle shapes I was using for a big Bowie knife. And that's the beauty of using computer graphics, is you can quickly make a copy of the knife, drop down and alter the handle to see what it looks like, or alter any aspect of the knife to see what the change would look like. Alright, then we got a mock-up of a couple knives, Hunter, drop point Hunter, and another knife there with a maple handle. And here's another example. Here's a mock-up of a little mini cleaver that I did, and on the left you see the original design concept, and then the finished knife on the right. And then another example, this is a little paring knife, kitchen paring knife, where I did the complete design, and then you see the blade outline and then the finished knife on the right. So lots of different things you can do with computer graphics software when you're designing knives. A really handy tool, and I hope you'll all will take the time to practice some. Get you a copy of Coreldraw and practice some, and it'll change the way you perceive knife design. Also, please take a minute and subscribe to this channel. There's a little subscribe button down in the corner. It'll help me out a great deal. I've got to have 1,000 subscribers for YouTube will let me monetize my channel and let me make a little money so that I can upgrade equipment and hopefully keep producing videos, keep producing better videos. So your help would be appreciated. Also, if you've got another way that you do this, if you've got another program that you use that you like, please tell me about it. Leave a comment below. If you like using Illustrator and how much better it is, hey, let me know. Also, if you've got a question about Coreldraw and using it, I'll be glad to answer. I've been using all the versions since Corel 5, I think. So whatever version you have, if you got a question, leave it down there in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer it. So I appreciate you watching this video. Appreciate your time. Have a great day.